Okay, it's another wonderful evening. And sorry, we had a little technical itch a moment ago, and we are back and we are going on directly here. So welcome back. It's Admission to Arrivals with Titular FME Kings. And we've had a lot of series being done here as regards this topic of admissions to arrival in Teesside. And if you're just joining us or you're watching this on YouTube, it's just basically the support we are giving to ourselves here in Teesside as regards those of us coming in from the UK to coming in from Nigeria to UK, and especially coming to Middlesbrough. We're doing everything possible to assist ourselves in terms of accommodation, in terms of jobs, in terms of family safety, and in various ways that we can support ourselves. So if you're watching live on YouTube, would like to know where you are watching from on the comments on our live chat. Would like to know where you are watching from, and just tell us your name and tell us where you are watching from. And if you're watching this later, also you can leave your comment on what you've learned and questions that you might have around this discussion today. So we've done a lot of series on how to get accommodation, how to get jobs, how to get school for your children. And we are also still continuing today. Today, we're basically looking at how to avoid your children being taken, because when we arrived Middlesbrough, we've seen a lot of challenges go around, families losing their children, families going to work in the morning, dropping their children in school, and coming back from school, all they are hearing is that they can no longer be the parents of their children. And upon arriving here, we met a man who has been doggedly committed to helping people, training them, and making sure that this endemic malady is not continuing in this. When we came, I can't forget about almost 5 families had to go through these tears. And when we checked statistics, we saw that a lot of families still went through the same pains even before we arrived. So we decided to always challenge this and make sure that we train ourselves, then unlearn and relearn what parenting is, as we started from Nigeria, and how it's supposed to look in the UK, so that we don't fall into this ditch that is waiting in this place. So if you are ready, I am ready. I'll be bringing up our guest. He's going to share some facts with us on how you will not lose your children to the social workers here in Middlesbrough. So far, we thank God, like I was discussing with our guests this morning, that this year, we've not gotten any record, unless the people are not speaking up. We've not gotten anybody talk around that the child has been collected because of the education they've gotten from here. And we hope that those of you coming in January will also learn as well. So in the next 30 minutes, we'll just bring up our guest and he's going to share with us. I wanted you to know that what he's going to share here is a little. There's a lot of unlearning and relearning to be done. So he'll be telling us about affect-centric parenting 101 that we all did when we came, and it helped us to understand how to parent here in United Kingdom and especially Middlesbrough. So if you are there, we are here. Let's get it going, and welcome with me the indefatigable, ever dynamic, great advocate of the people here in Middlesbrough, Mr. Olalekan Odedei, as it takes us on why and how your children can be taken here and how you can avoid it. Good evening, Mr. Olalekan. Over to you.
Good evening, sir. I once again greet every one of us. As he has mentioned, can you hear me clearly?
Very clearly, we can hear you.
Thank you very much for that. So I will just be sharing little things about how and what is the situation, and we also exchange ideas on what we can do.
Once again. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. So I would like to share with us when we talk about children. This is something that is a matter of concern, not just to people in United Kingdom. It is a concern in the world. There's what we call United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child. They define a child as someone that's still under the age of 18 years. And Article 3 of the United Nations says best interest of the child. The best interest of the child is what's paramount mostly. And that is why you have to see that the well-being and safety of a child is not just the responsibility of the parents, it is the whole community, the local authority, everyone that involved, And Article 9, however, said that separation from parents. Children must not be separated from the parents against their will, unless it is the best interest of a child. Now, for instance, if a parent is hurting or neglecting a child, then there must be an intervention. However, it is the responsibility of local authority to make sure that they do their possible best to put early intervention into place. But unfortunately, sometimes that is lacking in the system. And it's been a challenge to us when you look at the number of people coming from Africa migrating to the United Kingdom. It's becoming a concern, especially when you look at the Nigerian as well, where we are now. The number is increasing every day. In fact, there was a statistic that said before COVID, about 14,000 UK study and work visa were issued to Nigerian nationals. And by 2021, that has gone beyond more than 4 times likely, more than that. And we also have skilled workers, we have doctors, we have, in fact, very soon they said teacher will also be having some flexible visa to migrate to United Kingdom. So this is posing some risk to the family because of the cultural differences, the way of upbringing might be different. And when it comes to United Kingdom, there's a policy, process, and procedure, but sometimes it's not being followed accurately. There's acts of parliament which allocate the duty to authority, court, parents, and other agencies in the United Kingdom to ensure children are safeguarded and their welfare is promoted. The Children Act 1989 and 2004. So if a concern is being raised, then they have to intervene. But there are some responsibility they're supposed to do to make sure there's an intervention on safety and well-being of the children and young people, to support and strengthen families, helping children to stay safely and thrive within their birth family home, where possible. That's the clause, where possible. So for them to decide if it is possible or not, sometimes this can be influenced by racially motivated discrimination, racism, structural racism, which obviously is affecting majority of migrants at the moment. And because of power imbalances, there are a lot of pressure. And guess what? Who pay the price? The children pay the price. The family pay the price. So they're supposed to come in if there's a concern, at least to make sure there's a short-term provision, so that at the end of the day, they work with the parents to see how best they can support so that these children can be returned back home. There are categories where they can involve in terms of, they could say, abuse or neglect. That is the majority of area that they intervene at the moment. Over 63% are due to neglect or abuse. When they talk about abuse, physical, emotional neglect, or sexual abuse, there are laws, like I've said, if you look at Scotland and Wales, it's quite different from England. So because this position has to do with Middlesbrough, which is England, I won't talk more on that aspect. Now, what can we do to make sure we protect our children? We must have willingness to learn and unlearn some parenting styles and way of upbringing. There are better ways to discipline a child, and that will take us to the courses we are running in terms of Afrocentric parenting course. If you search that on YouTube, you will see it. Or if you search Save the Woman, you will see most of these courses. We put some free courses online in case you want to go on that. You need to train yourself before you can train a child. And most importantly, stress-free. You must be mentally and emotionally stable, because if not, you'll be under pressure, and that can relate or inflect on your way of having a relationship or talking through with your child. You need to build a stronger relationship, good communication, and set and maintain a boundary. You know, when we talk about family life, your values, your family values, it's something that you have to imbibe at the early stage, and you have to talk through with your children and dealing with it calmly if there's need to do that, because we don't want a child to pass through this. Some of the children taken into care, this is what happened to them, and there's a statistics 4 times more likely to take African child into care compared to white British, and 3 times more likely compared to any other ethnic minority. So I will just take us through some of these issues. So I have to flip some, to jump some, because the time we've got. So let me take it back to Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough, this is statistics of 2021, children look after, children in care, as at March 2021, you can see it is 6%, compared to the number of percentage of children of African in Middlesbrough, which is 2%. You can see the margin, and 182% higher than expected. So, and the same way is in Middlesbrough, is the same way is large in England as a whole. The population of children of school age is 6% in England, but those in care system is 8%. And we don't want this to continue. That is why we come on board, and with the collaborative work we've done with Kingstream, we'll be able to push this down to some reasonable level, but we still have to do more, because more people coming to the country. These are the area that people system targeted, and before you know, your children are gone. So we don't want that to repeat itself again. That is why we come on board today to enlighten family. So if you want to know more, like I've said, go through how much do you know why it is important to connect with your children or emotionally stable. If you search Afrocentric parenting course on YouTube, or you search Save the Woman with this logo, you should watch some of the video we've put through there. In Middlesbrough as a whole now, from 2017, it has become inadequate. And the concern is that as at 2020, Ofsted report says the inspection at the time found it widespread failure in Middlesbrough Children's Services. TSI Life article published 1st of February 2022, inspector found out that some families find themselves subject to statutory child protection planning when it is not needed. There's what we call financial exploitation, 1.4 million to buy gifts for the children, for them to remain in care. And more than 90 children got missing just in a year. I'm very sure none of us would pray for our children to go missing, because most people that travel, migrated, is to better the life of your children, yourself. So why will you come here, at the end of the day, you lose your children into system? We're doing our best. However, there are more people in the system, look like us, that they are committing this atrocity along with the system. Some of them are lawyers, they are social workers, they are pastors. So rather than saying the truth, they keep silence. And before you know, the children are gone. So basically, what I would say is that, for instance, let me give you some instance. They might say in school, a teacher made a referral that a child was playing in reception, and he said he can't get dirty because he will get beaten. The word beaten is very, very becoming an alarming issue. And you saying I will beat you might not mean you want to beat your child. But if the child said that innocently, the system might take that as a big concern. And before you know, they intervene. But if they call you that there's a concern in school, calm down, look for support. Don't get involved or engage with them all alone. Otherwise, you put yourself into more trouble, because most time what we said, the way we said it, might be interpreted in the wrong way. So you need to seek for advice. You need to ask for advocates. You need to ask for lawyer representation so that they'll be able to guide you properly, because there's something we call double standard, prejudice, and hidden racism. All these things can affect and impact. And the way they will even treat you might be different from the way they will take such cases if it's on the other side of the other area we're talking about. And sometimes they take the children into care with the expectation that, oh, they are going to protect them. But guess what? They put them into more risk. We've seen a child, they take the child from the family, or because two siblings were fighting each other. After 3 months, the child was raped. I'm sure none of us would pray for that.
Yeah, so, thank you, Ola. Just to get a pause, and you definitely continue. Always loaded, always fine. We've gone the first 10 minutes on this, and it's always very informative as we go. And we still have another like 10, 15 minutes to share. Then we can take questions. For those of you already watching on YouTube, you can please share with your groups where you are, your January group, and everybody that this information is on. Like you said, yeah, a lot of you say you prefer the Zoom where we all come. But for us, we say that it's like working in silos, and we've not been able to pass it on. And people who want to watch next time are not able to watch the next time. So we like it this way because other people are coming back to watch and see it there. Also, if then too, the way people come around the YouTube, Zoom and do some naughty things, we don't also like it. So we want to have our YouTube sane and clean like this. Thank you. Now, if you have questions, just type it on the chat box. You have signed in already. Tell us where you are watching from. We want to see that on the chat box, on the live chat. Then we want to know those of you that are in already. Share with other people also in the groups where you are that come and listen to this. Some statistics are coming on. I myself will still engage with Mr. Olaliko so that you get some raw hard facts from him. There are some things we can't say publicly on air, but some we can say. But I would definitely audit him and be able to get more facts for you, which I know already here. So ask your questions there on the chat, on the live chat, and we'll be able to ask Mr. Olaliko to respond to them. Mr. Olaliko, thank you very much. So you can go again for your second half. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. So let's just continue with some of these statistics. But before I proceed, let me just talk briefly about when you come to the, you migrated, if you are coming with your children or your child, make sure you register them at GP, first thing. And apart from GP, there's a dentist, there's an eye clinic. You have to register them so that, because in case anything happens in school, these are the first thing they will do is they go for meeting. We call it strategy meeting, where most professionals will be there. Police will be there, health officer will be there, the school will be there, social worker will be there. So they have to consider whether you have in any way failed in those responsibilities. And if you fail, that's what they call neglect. And if you book appointments for GP for anything, for no reason, if you cannot attend, please make sure you ring them, you let them know. And if possible, don't miss your appointment, because if you miss appointments, that can count as neglect. Please, that can count as neglect. Don't miss appointments. And when you are taking your children into school, please make sure you let them go on time. You participate so much. If possible, make sure you did not miss any parenting evening, or try as much as possible, especially men. Please, this is the area that you have to be involved. It's not where you coming from, you might say, oh, your wife can do everything. No, you have to be supportive when you are coming. And if there's any way, or if there's any issue between a couple, make sure you solve this issue while you are at home, before you migrated here. Because if it continues, that can cost a lot of attention. And before you know, your children that are even coming to a new environment, they were struggling in school, because some of them will face what we call racism, bullying. They want to talk to you. But because you coming here, probably you are going for too much shift, you are going for too much work, you want to make more pounds, you forget your priority. Your children must be your priority when you are coming to this country. But if you know you cannot prioritize your children, it's better you leave them back home where you are coming from. Don't bring them here. Otherwise, you will lose them, and it's going to be traumatic, because the system is struggling on its own. Look at the article that says England's social care system unfit for purpose. This was said by former children commissioner. He said the care system is not fit for purpose, and the way they are handling some children over to criminal gang, from taking them from school to care system, from care system to prison, from prison become addicts, being on the street. I know none of us will pray for that. And they said some social workers are too quick to wade in. When they're supposed to support family, they will just remove the children unnecessarily. Another report said too many children wrongly taken into care. If they wrongly take your child into care, who bear that consequence? It is you and your children. And they even they branded this as injustice. The practice under which some authority take away babies. We've seen family that they come to study. Before you know, within weeks, they have been exposed to social services. They have taken their children. And once the children are taken out of your care, believe me, you will be struggling for them to get back. And even if they come back, you might not be able to meet the standard. So what you need to do, look for Afrocentric parenting skill course that will enlighten you, that will help you, that will guide you on how best to support your children. We've got some of it online, but if you register, you'll be able to fulfill that course, enroll for that course. We have 101, we have 201. And if you have a teenager child, that is 201, how to parent teenager children. The reason why we do this is to make sure we minimize the number of children taken into care. Because when they take them into care, they also face racism in the care system. They were treated differently. And I'm sure you won't want such to happen. You don't make progress by standing on the sideline, whimpering and complaining. You make progress by implementing ideas. This is Shirley Chisholm, the first African elected woman in America to Congress. That is why we come on board. And in the last couple of months, we've handled 61 cases. We've been able to safely support the return of 29 children and protected 31 children from entry care system, and thousands of families have been empowered through the course. So search us on Save the Woman. You see more information there. I think that's all for now. If you've got questions, please let us know, and we'll be able to answer some of the questions.
Very much, Mr. Olalekan. And we are just 30 minutes more into this, because we've resolved to make sure that we do this under 1 hour, as much as people are participating. So so far we have like 6 people following us on YouTube, and we thought that others would watch later and learn from whatever we have shared here. So like I said, why we do this, so that others can come and learn from this. 1 minute, please. So we have Mr. Teniola from Akure watching. We have Mr. Olaoluyemi from Lagos watching. And I will still take time to let your question drop, the more those of you that are watching, while I engage Mr. Olalekan a little bit before I take the questions. And I've told you, share with other people. If you're just joining, this is Admission to Arrivals with Titela FME Kings. And we're basically doing this in Middlesbrough. You know, I got a call from Scotland yesterday, and it's so encouraging because people are aware of the good work that the two of us is doing here in Middlesbrough. And people are saying that Teesside has a Nigerian community that is standing for them. So they know that there are people here who are working with people and standing with them as well. So let's feel encouraged with what we are doing. People's children have been taken. Let's look at cases that we've had. Is it true that shouting on a child here we also have our say over watching from Lagos. Please, I would advise share with others so that others can still learn. We still have like 30 minutes to learn from this. And these questions I'll be asking is going to be very, very supportive to a lot of you. While in Nigeria, we could shout on our child. We could slap our child like they're in school, tell the child, smack, beat the child there, and so on and so forth here. So why is it that, so before I come to that, what rights does the UK government, through social workers, why do they think they can take our children? Is there a law backing that so that we can know when I'm bringing my child here, is it true that the child still belongs to me? What right does the UK government have over any child that we bring into this place? Ola.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think I mentioned it in the earlier presentation that there's what we call Children Act 1989 that give power to authority to safeguard and protect children. So when a concern is being raised, whether it is true or not, it is responsibility to intervene, to call a meeting, to see and determine the threshold, whether there's a risk or probably there's a likely risk. If there's a concern, then they have to intervene. On some many occasions, they might not take the children away. Probably they might say, okay, let's do Section 17 assessment. Consider children in need to see what can we do to support this family. That's where you look at the social worker model, care and control, the care aspect, intervene. You know, children welfare is about supporting family. But sometimes some local authorities take it extremely, and you can't blame them. They are overstretched. They don't have time to assess what the family needs. So they will believe what we need to do, that glass goggle they use is removing children.
Very much. Thank you very much, Ola. We'll just take it one by one as we are driving into perspective. So every parent watching now and I will watch later, you have heard it that here, the UK government are concerned about the safeguarding of every child, and there is a rule backing it up why they can come and check if your child is safe or is a risk. It is a law. It is a law. Can we all hear this now? So it's not like what we have in Nigeria. We keep talking about the Child Rights Act in Nigeria, and we're not enacted. Here it is. It's so crazy that animals here have rights. So there's animal rights. So if an animal can report to you, you go to jail. So you can't kill anyhow. You can't. Here they don't slaughter chicken. It's that much. So if animals have rights that way, children have the rights. So the issue don't come with that mentality of let me get my child. The government has the right to check if the child is a risk, because sincerely, there are irresponsible parents. Ola, am I right? Who's saying that? They are irresponsible parents, and we don't want that to happen here. But we know that you are bringing your child to the UK, you want better education, you want love for your children, but the way we're parenting in Nigeria might not be here. So there is a third eye. There is a third eye. I want this to sink. There is a third eye watching how you are parenting your child here in the UK, and it is a law. So if they see that your child is not properly taken care of, they can challenge you. They can challenge you, and they can't take the child. They can take the child, and there's nothing you will do to it. So watch out, there's a third eye. All I said, when concern is raised, can you please explain to us when you say concern is raised? By who? Who raised the concern?
Thank you very much, sir. What we need to note is that in this environment, in every school, any environment, school is the safest place, a relaxed place. And if care is not taken, it can be, the children can be take advantage of the children, because these children are innocent. We've got 3 schools in Middlesbrough that some of their teachers, what they are fond of is asking children every time, are you happy? Are you sad? Did your mommy beat you? These are the questions. And we even confronted the school, and the school is trying to cover it up. In fact, there's a particular school, a teacher said, a child said, mommy beat me last night. And the following morning, they didn't allow the child and the other sibling to go back home. Guess what? It was a assistant head teacher that eventually fostered that child with a partner. So you can see there's a malicious referral. And sometimes, probably they see the child not feeling happy. That's why we said every home, you have to have a good communication with your child. And also, sometimes if there's a challenge between you and your partner, don't start shouting at each other, because that can emotionally affect your child. And your child can get to school, feel moody. And they might approach that child that, oh, what happened to you? Before you know, the child said, oh, my mommy and daddy were fighting. That's the concern. So the local authority need to intervene and to see what can we do.
Ola, thank you very much. So we put it in perspective the more. This question is trying to make people follow us, and let's clear their doubts and their understanding quickly. Your child can talk. This is what we are saying here. Your child can talk. Your child can say, mommy and daddy's fighting. Your child can say, mommy slapped me. When you slap that child in Nigeria, nobody can nobody can challenge you. Here, if your child goes to complain, your child can talk. So when Ola says raise concern, if your child gets to school and they see your 5 and if it's in Nigerian school, no complaint. Here, there's trouble. There's trouble. So child can raise concern. Ola is still, we're taking the way that some teachers ask malicious questions, and we'll tell you how to solve that and how to combat that clearly. So your child can raise concern. Therefore, we have said, have a good relationship with your children and teach your children to know that discipline here is continuous. But as much as possible, you can do without cane if possible. So Ola, are we now saying that discipline is over because we're in the UK? Are you saying that I can no longer discipline my child? Are you saying that since the UK government will complain, is the UK government saying I should not discipline my child? Or are they saying I should not beat my child again? Over to you, Ola.
Oh, thank you very much, sir. UK government is not saying you should not discipline your child, but what they are saying is that there are better ways you can correct a child. You know, sometimes there's a difference between discipline and punishment. Punishment is correct, but if you are disciplining a child, there are methods, there are better ways to do that. So if you enroll for that course, we talk about affectionate parenting course, you'll be able to know alternative ways, measures you can, relate with your child, and your child will listen to you rather than the same model you think you've been used with, or what they used to train you with, and you said, oh, because of that, that was what makes you turn good. No. In fact, if you discipline it, if you beat a child, if you do anything to a child without child even knowing what she does, or he know what he did, it's like you just create fear into that child. Now, as a parent, I understand, especially single parents, there are pressure on you. You want to go to school, you want to work, you want to care for the child. There are better ways to calm down. Most especially, the pressure is too much. Early in the morning, when you want to drop your child in school, or they're about to go to school, if your child doesn't want to eat, let them know the reason why they need to eat. Don't shout at your child. Don't say, oh, if you don't eat, your child might, a eye can change, turn in a way, and get to school. The teacher will see that this eye is not smiling. And that's where the conversation will start. And when the conversation starts, you don't know what kind of questions. We call it leading questions. And before you know, sorry, you can't take your child. In fact, you even see people knock at your door. And when you open the door, it's policemen.
Ola, you've seen that. They're not saying you should not discipline your child, but they're saying that don't use the method of spatula, omorogun, bells, and every other thing that you've used. Yeah, time is running up. Sola, please, if you are here joining us, tell us where you're watching from. It's been going up and down, going to 9, 10 people coming out and going in. We are okay with that. And we are saying that other people can come and watch later. Sola Uliyemi says, if a child has cane marks on the body from Nigeria, what may happen? Cane marks already. So Ola, what do they do to this type of child to make sure that they are safe already, since it's a cane mark already? And how can they make sure that it doesn't lead to problem later? Then others, if you have questions, please ask here now. We are reading. We have all your chat live and direct. We have just 15 minutes more here. So ask your questions now. Other questions, we'll respond to them on the chat later. But if you are live already, ask your questions now and we will do justice to them. Ola, over to you.
So whatever form, how that mark come on your child, on the body of your child, what they want to know is, were you aware? Do you have knowledge of how that mark comes to that child on the body? If you have the knowledge, you let them know how and what. And sometimes the aspirants, how did this one come up? You say you don't know. That shows neglect. That's no, you don't have concern about that. But in a situation whereby that happened, that's where you need advocates. That's where you need lawyer. If anything happened, and from there they said they went for body check, they went for medical assessment, and they will see some marks. If that mark is fresh, it's different from old marks. There are better ways they will argue that. That is why we said, don't engage in saying anything other than getting advice. And if it happens and they come to you, they said, sign this document. Please don't sign any document you don't know what is inside. Especially the major document they will bring to you is section 20. If it happens that your child says something, or they said something happened and they need to intervene, the child is not safe. If it's husband they made allegation against, the wife can say, husband can look for a place temporary. But if it is wife, then the wife can look for a place temporary. But if it is both parents, both of you can look for somebody else, a family, a friend, a pastor, imam, anybody you know. The children can stay with them safely until they do their investigation. That are the best alternative than for you to allow them to take your children into care or temporary foster home. That shouldn't happen, because it is your right. They are to give you that right to provide a safe place. You are not saying, and don't say the child is lying. You appreciate whatever they said the child said, but if it is not real, you say it's not true, but you are not going to attack that
the child.
Is lying.
So Ola, let's come in from here. Now there is no case, but this family knows that there is mark on their child, a cane mark. So, and you know, they're going to see doctors. So should they, what do they do? You know that in case something happens later, these social workers now see the mark. They would want to think that it's a recent mark on the body of the child. But this one already happened from Nigeria before they left. And now they are here in. So what can they do to register that this mark is already there before we came in here upon arrival? What do you think we can do around this? This is a very
what you can do is to take a picture of it, keep it somewhere. Just take a picture. Don't panic. You might be, yes, nothing. You know, the way you come here, the way you start caring for your child, the way you show concern, the way you make sure everything is order, there won't be a problem. Nobody should be scared that, oh, I'm going there will be a problem. No. Sure. Take a record of whatever that you know is there. Take a picture, take a record, keep it in case anything happens in future. And before you start even telling them this is what happened, you consult your doctor, your advocate, you consult your lawyer, and you let them know this is what happened, but we've had, this is what is happening in UK. They will just take your child to medical assessment, whether it is hold mark or, and when they go for that assessment, most of the doctor will tell you if it is fresh mark or no fresh mark. The argument now is that, how does it happen? It could be from the school that your child is coming from. It's allowed where you're coming from. Discipline is allowed in a way of instrument, but here it is not allowed. And in fact, if you don't even use it here, your child will not even say that. But if they manipulate your child to say that, then there's evidence on your side.
Thank you very much, Ola. So we're saying that if there's anybody that has a mark, then there are some of you that have marks on your children that is not from beating. It's because the child played in school, like that. So we're saying, get a picture before you come, get to the doctor, and let the hospital tell you, give you that this was, if you have the, when you took that child to the hospital, and you know, before you came here, so just make sure that there is an hospital record, one way or the other, that makes us know that this is in Nigeria. Maybe the child got wounded in school, and you know you are coming, you can revisit it again with the doctor that, please help me check this wound. How can I treat this mark on my child? You can go back to the doctor for that. How can I treat this on my child? So that you have the doctors, a skin doctors report in Nigeria and keep it. So just go back to the doctor, say, how can I treat this? If it's a past wound, how can I treat my child on this? Please, this is a very important episode that we have, and pass it on to other people to come to watch this and learn all these things we are saying. We are very bold. We are not worried UK government can come and watch this here. We are just making sure that we are putting the record straight. We don't want any issue for our Nigerians when they come. Like I told Ola, and I think God has helped us. I said this year, I am not crying, fasting and praying for anybody on child. And my people, this is December 20, am I right? December 21. And I have not cried and prayed for anybody about child. And this was the decision me and Ola made at the beginning of this year, that we will not weep and cry over anybody's and pray over this. But this did not just happen. It came by regular training like this. And what we are doing here now is helping the UK government, because they are overstretched already, helping the UK government so that they don't have issues with our people when they arrive. And this is what they are supposed to do, to even sponsor organizations like us to do this training. But nobody's giving us a dime to do this. We are doing this by ourselves and we'll continue to do it. So pass this on to other people. Esther Keslure Wonifari, I can see you are watching from UK. The Lord will bless you for this. So we are saying, so hear this knowledge. There's nothing wrong. If your child has a mark already, before you are coming now, I'm saying this, go and visit the doctor because of that mark, how you want to treat it. So when they will recommend any skin, whatever, that gives you a record that that skin mark was already from Nigeria. Because having listened to us, having followed our training, having been tutored to unlearn and relearn, now that you are in the UK, you are no longer beating that child. You are now following the UK rule. You will not allow your child play anyhow. You're not going to give room for safeguarding issues. So in case anything now happens, and any teacher, because there are devilish teachers, and we are on them as well, ask your child a leading question, and your child says that this happened when my friend beat me, you are good to say that was in Nigeria, where it is allowed. But here, it is, since we arrived here, nothing like that has happened, and you show the doctor's report. There was a case we handled, and you won't believe that they took these children, and investigation started. The marks on this child were not from beating, were not from anything. It took God, after prayers, that the skin doctor they consulted here said all these marks were not from beating. And the family, they even had to write doctors in Nigeria to investigate. They do it that far here. So please get anyhow doctor's intervention on any mark on your child now. School, when they were in school, here now, in this place now, if anything happens to your child, those of you in UK that will watch, if anything happens to your child in school here, now in the UK, and it becomes a mark, make sure the school writes you that this play happened in school, it became a mark, and they treated it. So that, and you remember this date, so that it does not turn around against you in future. We have 5 minutes to go. Ola, what do you want to say to people finally from you? Please talk about Section 20, importantly. In case your child makes a disclosure and you now have police in your house, is that all with dogs and everything are coming to search your house and whatever? Ola, what can you do?
Yeah, good. Like I've said once again, if the police come to your door or they call you from school that this is what happened and we don't think your children or your child can follow you home, or you need to sign this document for us so that we go and keep them somewhere to safe, and we are going to call you on so dates for meeting. Tell them, before you sign anything, you need to get a lawyer, or you need to get an advocate, or you need to get your pastor. Call them, this is what happened. Don't cover it to yourself alone. Before you know, the children are gone. So they will be able to guide you and tell you, okay, which family can support you? Do you have 1 or 2 families that they can stay with temporarily, so that the local authority will look into the matter? Before you know, once you get 1 or 2 persons to support you, they know that you are not alone. Because most parents, if they are alone, that is when it is easier for the government to trample on their rights. I will just play this video for you to listen to it, and you can watch part of it, the remaining one on YouTube.
Thank you.
This is the reality, what we are talking about.
What is asking for special treatment. What people are asking for is justice, fair treatment, you know what I mean? Treating people with respect. And that's go back to the training given to social worker. More needs to be done by the government, by the training and educating the professionals, the social worker. And that is why SafeOne is also doing their own part. We recently launched a Afrocentric parenting course, and that course is about educating family as well, educating parents, for them to also understand their responsibility, because there's a law that says you have to protect these children, safeguarding. And that course is about enlightening parents, educating them, equipping them with skills that they will be able to understand the law and the regulations of this country, and to be able to give the best to their child and protect their children very well. Because if there's unfair treatment in the system, then you have to protect your home.
Thank you very much, Ola. We really appreciate you for your time. And like I said, this video will be available for others to watch continually. So I think, let me check if we have any other new questions so far. Mr. Teniola, I've answered your question that just bring your children closer and closer and closer. What are the basic things as a parent you need to do before entering the UK to keep their children close, to avoid being taken away? Yes, just become friends with your parent. A lot of you are just parents, they're not friends with your children. Become friends from now. They can tell you anything. A lot of things are going on. We can't finish it on this topic. So you guys can go and watch. And coming for Afrocentric parenting, coming for, we have what we call Family Safety Summit. We're still going to do another one in February. Family Safety Summit, when a lot of people have arrived. We have another Family Safety Summit where we talk together about things going on here. We share. But now, we've just been able to tell you and establish to you that there is a law. There's a third eye looking at your children with you. Nigerian team, please prepare the advert for House of Opinion for me and bring it on so that we can share with our people. Thank you very much. Before we tell you the final things about airport pickups and other things we're offering, I want to inform the whole house that on Monday, we are starting this program called House of Opinion. And we that we are in the UK, we are not staying out of issues happening in Nigeria. So we have decided to create this discussion that is going to be a weekly program, apart from this one that we do, to discuss local and national issues happening. We are still coming back on this children matter. We want to know that, is this third eye important? Is it helping children or is it killing children? We are coming on that on House of Opinion. Ola, let's get ready for that. This third eye of this right of social worker to be able to take my child when I discipline or have anything. You do have the right. But on Monday, 26th, as we are on bank holiday, public holiday, we're coming up with a topic that is called Articulated Jagaban Experience versus Obedient Energy. Which one do you think can win the 2023 election in Nigeria? Media in Nigeria, please, can you please give me that advert? And I think I could also play it from the YouTube if I have access. Media from Nigeria, are you giving us that? Are you giving us that? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Watch what the program looks like, and let's take it. Right, please.
Just a few weeks ago, a sitting governor of this nation, he said he ran 1 kilometer from bandits to save his life. And this state, court members are still transferred there. If a governor is not safe, who is safe?
Honorable
We are saying
James,
the security.
Honorable James, are you saying
where a governor is running,
yes,
a core member should be fleeing.
No, that is really
sex education. You discover that the reason why we are honorable Bukola. Where did you get first led to sex education? Was it at school or at home?
Yes,
Can you let this honorable understand what you had in mathematics and WAEC?
Thank you very much.
Because you studied.
Mr. Speaker, this is partiality. No. She's smiling to you and you are responding. No, we are. Yes, Mr. Speaker, I will raise a motion for impeachment. We cannot come here and be partial.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. What audacity does Honorable James have to say he wants to raise an order for impeachment?
Objection.
For a speaker that sworn you in as an honorable, you are such an ungrateful fellow.
I've not been on set for a long time and I've not demonstrated the power of the speaker. The next moment you call one of my honorable ministers, do you know what it takes to award somebody honorable in this house?
Apology, Mr. Speaker.
Don't try that again with me. I'm happy to tell you that 8 people says that NYC should stay, while 2 people say NYC should be scrapped. For that reason, as a powerful speaker of the House of Opinion, I hereby support the motion that NYC should.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That is the concept of the program. But this one is starting on Monday, public holiday, by 10 o'clock UK time. We share with you. And we want you to be able to call in and also call in and contribute. So there are some numbers will be shared on that day. There's going to be a studio in Nigeria. There's going to be a studio in the UK. Then I'll be on the rope of the powerful speaker of the House of Opinion. And we are discussing articulated energy versus articulated Jagaban experience versus obedient energy. Which of these do you think can win the next election in Nigeria? So can I have your feelers, those of you online now, you want to tell me, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Are you thinking the obedient energies are doing well, or you think the articulated Jagaban experiences will make things happen for themselves? Let me see. Let me feel. Those of you watching online now, let's hear your comments. So if you're on Instagram, go and follow us on Instagram at Femi Kings on Instagram. Go and follow us there. And the discussion has started there on Instagram. Then we'll be here on YouTube. If you're watching now, please, and you've not subscribed, subscribe to this YouTube channel and follow us. You have other videos to watch here. You want to pray, is available here. You want to learn to do something, is available here. This YouTube channel is loaded and is transforming the life of a lot of people. So whatever you want to do, you want to learn, you want to pray, you want to learn all this we've learned before, they are there to bless you. We are back here on Monday by 10 a.m. UK time. We want to learn, we want to see how we can challenge ourselves about what is going on in Nigeria. And come next Saturday by 6 p.m., we'll be bringing another topic on House of Opinion. And that was going to be very, very great. We want to discuss this topic. Should Nigeria Call Service be scrapped? Should NYSC be scrapped? Is NYSC doing any good thing for anybody in Nigeria? Then we have another topic coming up the upper week that says Japa or stay. Is it good to leave Nigeria, or is it good to stay in Nigeria of today? So we'll have this topic maybe next week. The honorables will decide. And if you want to be one of the honorables to join us in discussing this topic, you can join our WhatsApp group as we discuss all these issues. We can make you an honorable as well to discuss with us. Thank you very much. Now, for pickup, we'll be picking up people at Newcastle. I'm picking up people at Manchester this time around. So a driver has been assigned to do that. I won't be doing any of that this time around. And he has said, if he's coming to pick you in Manchester with your family, you'll be charging £250. And if he's picking you up at Newcastle, he's charging £150 for that. So if you want these services, just media, please drop our WhatsApp group on YouTube there so that people can join. There's a WhatsApp group called King's Realm Teesside. You can join there and discuss with us further. Accommodation is not funny now in Middlesbrough, so people are now going to places like Red Car, Hartlepool, and every other place. Please, if you see accommodation there in Tier 6, Tier 8 where I live, get it, and you'll be able to get to Tier 1 where your school is easily. Don't kill yourself for Tier 1. It's not funny at all. Thank you very much. This is how far we can go. If you have not subscribed, subscribe to King's M TV. Click our notification button, like, and comment. I don't think we have any other question. Edgeworth says that I believe that the two strategies have their place in the society, but it is worthy of note that these two strategies will carry out the other strategy on a low key. I didn't get it. I believe the two different strategies have their place in the society, of course, but it is worthy of note that these two strategies will carry out other strategies on the low key. Yes, go on our Instagram, Agewords, and the discussion is going on there, ETED. But on Monday, we'll be here by 10 a.m. in the morning to argue it out. It's going to be very informative. So those of you in the UK, you've gone on shift and you've been busy. You want to laugh a little bit. We want to give ourselves good fun and knowledge. That's TFK. I'll be the speaker of the house. It's going to be a very, very interesting session here on this bank holiday. Mr. Ola, I would say a big thank you for your time. You are always there. You are always been wonderful. Let's connect and have some time out as we have planned. Thank you very much for coming on this program today. Those of you that have watched, pass it on to other people to come and watch what we have dropped here today. See you same time next week on Admission to Arrival. Bye for now. Bye-bye.